Your name?
Dorothy Puffenberger.
Were you born in Seneca County?
Born in Tiffin.
What was it like to be born in kind of a small town in the late 1910s, early 1920s?
I liked it that it wasn't so big. More of your neighbors that way.
Were there any like urban legends that you heard while growing up? Any like spooky stories that you would tell on the playground?
No, I didn't tell spooky stories.
Did you have any family members who played any sports?
Any what?
Sports?
I like basketball.
Okay. Did any of your family members participate in World War II?
My father.
What branch of the military was he?
He was a mess sergeant in the Army.
Okay. Did he tell you any stories of his time, or not really?
No, I don't remember any. I don't have a very good memory.
When were you married?
I can't remember the date. September the 30th. See, I was 24 and I must have been 1944.
How long were you married?
I don't know. From 44 till when he died, or till, well, I'm still a married woman, I guess. Well, from 44 till now, or however many years that is.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that is a very long time. What was the name of your carpet and flooring business?
Puffenberger Floor Covering.
Where in Tiffin was it located?
29 and 31 South Washington.
All right. How did you get into that business?
Well, I don't know. My husband just wanted to start a business. He worked at Ewald Furniture store before, so he knew something about carpet.
Was Ewald like a local furniture store?
Still is.
All right, I've never heard of it, mostly because I grew up in southeastern Ohio.
Oh.
What was it like to be part of the small business ownership?
It was kind of a pain. You had to be on the job every day. And I had a baby at the time. I took the baby down at the store, had him in the playpen during the morning, then his grandmother took him in the afternoon.
How long did you do that? How long could you have him in the store with you?
Oh, I don't remember that.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I wear a patch on my back for memory. I don't have a very good memory.
What kind of like changes did you see over the years in that business? Like what trends happened over those years in the business?
In the business? Oh, golly. See, I told you I didn't have a good memory.
Was that back before the days of like wall-to-wall carpeting?
There was wall-to-wall.
There was?
Yeah, we did wall-to-wall carpeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you did the installation as well as?
Yes, we had 3 men that worked for us.
Wow.
They did the installation. We had wallpaper and shades and drapes.
Were there
countertops.
Okay.
You were almost like a complete remodeling.
Yeah, just about. Mm-hmm.
Did your husband like help with the renovations of any houses with the countertops or flooring?
Oh yeah, he helped with all of it. Yeah, he worked.
Did he get to know a lot of the people in town because of it?
Probably.
What would you say was your favorite carpet design that you saw in the store?
Oh, we had a wall full of samples. I don't know which one was my favorite.
Were there any like really comfy ones that like felt soft to the touch, and any rough ones?
I didn't like the rough ones.
I don't think many people do.
I can't remember any particular one, the name of it or anything.
Was there a best-selling carpet of the time? Somebody would come and say, "Oh, I saw this in another house."
Probably, we saw a lot of plush carpet. Yeah.
The movies seem like in Tiffin, because I know that there's like a movie theater there that's been there for a while.
Ritz. Yeah. It was right across the street from us. Yeah.
Wasn't there a movie theater across the street from the Ritz?
Yeah.
Or was it like across the street and down? Which one? Was that Shine's?
It was right across the street.
Yeah, was that Shine's Theater? Do you remember?
The Shine. No, I remember the Lyric.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Yeah, that was up south further.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a YMCA in Tiffin at one point?
Yes.
Was it close to you, or no, was it kind of on the outskirts?
It was on the corner of Market and Monroe Street.
Did you ever go to it?
I did. I
Was-
like to swim.
Was it a very busy place, or no, it was kind of like few people?
It was pretty busy. Yeah.
Do you remember the fashion trends at the time, like what men and women wore in the 40s?
I know I bought a dress for 28 cents once in Newberry's basement.
Do you remember what color of the dress it was?
No. I told you I wear a patch on my back for memory.
Have you seen any like astronomical events like eclipses or meteor showers?
I don't remember any.
Do you remember where you were during the moon landing?
No.
No?
Don't remember where I was.
Okay.
Did Neil Armstrong visit Tiffin afterwards, or not really? Did he
I
just...
don't think so. I don't remember that, whether he did or not.
Okay.
You brought this very pretty box with you. Do you want to tell us about it? Did someone make it for you, or?
My husband made it.
Really? That
Yeah,
is
I had
beautiful.
some of his work. It was just a pastime he had.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did he make it for your birthday, or
No, he just made it
just made it? What
Yeah.
did you keep in it?
on a stand in my room.
Did you
I've got a Hail Mary that he made.
Mm-hmm.
He made a Last Supper, and that's over in the dining room over at the home.
Okay. But
He
did you
didn't-
keep any special treasures in the box, like jewelry or?
I've got a jewelry box that he made. It opens up. It's got drawers inside and a place to hang necklaces. I've got that sitting on my dresser.
So your husband was a very talented man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it came to woodworking, he was.
Did he ever make any cabinets for homes?
No, he didn't do that.
He didn't do cabinetry. Okay. He more like doing the smaller
The
things.
smaller things, yeah.
Yeah.
I said he did a Last Supper, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Hail
It's
Mary.
over at the home.
Yeah.
I
What were your hobbies?
liked to play basketball. Played that when I could. I wasn't on a team, but I played with some of my friends.
So did you just informally get together, call up and say, hey, we're having a game
There was
tonight?
a house over in St. Mary. They turned it into a kind of a place for activities, and we played in there. Yeah,
How long did you do that?
I don't remember. My memory is
That's okay. I just wondered maybe you stopped doing that last week.
no, not last week. A couple of years, anyhow.
What was the church you visited most regularly?
St. Joseph.
Who was the priest that you remember the most from St. Joseph?
Monsignor Holken.
How long was he the priest there?
I don't know how long he was there, but he was there a pretty long time. That's when I was younger.
Did he marry you and your husband?
No, I don't remember who did either.
Are there any national parks that you visited? Like the Grand Canyon?
Well, I probably have, because I've been to every state except North and South Carolina. My husband and I took a trip once for a month. We just traveled. We hit every state except North and South Carolina. So I probably hit some parks during that trip.
What was the most beautiful state during that travel?
Ohio.
Have you ever been to a Ohio State football home game?
No,
Was your husband a big fan of Ohio State football, or no, not really?
not really, I don't think. He wasn't that much into sports.
Did you graduate from
Calvert.
Calvert, not
Yeah, we
Columbia?
both graduated from Calvert.
Okay.
I graduated a year before he did.
Mm-hmm.
I was a year older.
Were you high school sweethearts?
Not really. I worked with his sister, is how I got connected with him.
Okay.
What was his sister like?
What was she like? Well, she was nice. I don't know how to describe her. They lived right across from St. Joseph's School.
Was she your best friend?
Her sister and I were good friends. I mean, his sister and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your siblings?
I had one sister, 14 months younger,
Okay.
named Eileen.
Is she still alive?
No,
No?
no. I had 2 daughters and 2 sons. One daughter died. So I still got 2 sons and 1 daughter alive.
And where are they?
One daughter's in Sydney. One son is in Bracknell, which is a suburb of Cleveland, Pennsylvania.
How often do they visit you?
Oh, at least one of them, I have at least one of them visit me every week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of times all 3 of them come.
They come for your birthday?
Oh yeah,
So we can roast them.
yeah, they always come for that. When they come, they usually take me out to eat.
What was your favorite restaurant in Tiffin?
I can picture it, but I can't think of the name of it.
Where was it?
Oh, shoot. I can't think of it now to save me.
Do you have a current favorite restaurant?
The same one.
The same one. So it's been there for your entire life, this restaurant?
No,
No, okay.
just since I've been going to restaurants.
Okay.
I can't think of it.
That's okay. That's okay.
I get a pat on my back for memory,
That's okay too.
because I don't have one.
Were there any bands that you really enjoyed listening to?
Well, I like band music, but I can't think of any special one.
Glenn Miller,
Yeah, well, I like Glenn
Artie
Miller.
Shaw,
I like Glenn Miller.
yeah.
Yeah,
Benny Goodman.
yeah, I like Glenn Miller though, the best, I think.
Did you ever get to see him play live?
No,
No?
Louis Armstrong's music?
who?
Louis Armstrong?
Okay.
Have you seen any musicians live?
Any musicals?
Yeah, like any musicals, musicians. Have you seen any of them in concert?
No.
Would you like to see one?
Be okay. You watch it on television. Don't have to travel.
If there's one person that you could talk to from any time in your life, who would that be? One more. You could talk to somebody one more time. Who would that be?
One person that I could talk to.
Anyone that you would love to talk to one
Oh, I
more
would.
time.
I think I talk to everybody I want to talk to.
You're going to be really busy talking to all people.
No,
No?
I
Your
just,
mom, your dad, your husband?
I'd like to talk to my husband, but I can't.
If you could, what would you ask him?
I have no idea. I'd have to have time to think about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
Huh? Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, I probably wasn't much help to you.
You told us a lot of things. Yeah, we appreciate that you brought your box, and you told us about your husband and your business. And
Yeah.
I think it's
Still
a-
got one daughter and two sons alive. One daughter in heaven.
how many grandchildren?
How many? See, Judy's got 6. Rick's got 2. Jim doesn't have any. 8.
Any great grandchildren?
Yeah, I think there are 3.
Thank you again, miss.
Yeah, thank you. We're glad we got to talk to you today.
Well, I don't know whether I was any help to you or not.
You were a